Good morning. On January the 20th, 2011, I found myself at the John H. Ruffin Municipal Courthouse in the state court, standing beside my son, waiting for the judge's decision on his sentencing. My son had already accepted a plea agreement rather than waiting behind bars for extended amount of time for a trial date behind bars and risking a harsher verdict or a longer sentence. He accepted a plea agreement. So we were at the courthouse. We were standing there in front of the judge, waiting on him to recite the sentencing agreement. He sentenced my son to 12 months and 10 years probation. I could see on my son's face the relief and the despair as the verdict was being stated. At the sentencing, the judge said to my son, "You are now a felon. You have cut yourself off from many opportunities afforded to citizens of the United States of America. You will not be able to vote. You will not be able to qualify for many government subsidies, and you will never be able to get a good job." But neither my son nor I realized how true those words were at the time. I felt as if the judge was pouring water on a drowning man. After my son served his time, his 12 months, he began the task of rebuilding his life and becoming a productive member of society. First on his list to get this done was to get a job. The job search was very difficult for him. At first, he started off by filling out the application and checking the little box that asks, "Have you ever been convicted of a felony?" Only to his dismay, he was not getting any callbacks. Judge Mathis always say, "If you can't find a job anywhere else, you can find a job at McDonald's." Well, I'm here to tell you that's just not true. Then he began to take another approach to the job market. He began leaving the box blank when it asks, "Have you ever been convicted of a crime?" He received several callbacks then. He even went on several interviews where they actually told him, "Yes, you have the job." They give him a start date. And they tell him, "Oh, just wait for HR to get in touch with you so that you can fill out your paperwork." Well, needless to say, HR never got back in contact with him. But weeks later, he would receive a letter in the mail from some background check agency that would tell him that your background was unacceptable. This usually disheartened him. And it was awful for me to watch. At those times, I often thought of the judge's words at sentencing. You would not. It was like you would never be able to get to get a good job because of his felony convictions. This leads me to the topic of my discussion today. Should a person be required to disclose has he been convicted of a crime on a job application? It's important to realize that a person's past mistakes should not define who they are today. I understand the reason that some companies say, some people say, that you should be open about this situation. But isn't the reason for incarceration is rehabilitation? So the inmate is not the same person he was coming into jail as he is coming out the jail. So he should be judged on who he is today. If a person has served their time and paid their debt to society, they deserve a fair chance at employment without their past haunting them. Like my son, a lot of people convicted of a felony leave jail and enter society with the hope of doing better in life and becoming a better person, but continually going through the rejection of obtaining employment and other basic necessities, such as certain housing, will not allow you to apply or live there if you have been convicted of a felony. So once you've been continuously rejected for employment, even the basic necessity of having somewhere, a good place to live, are denied, you because you're a felony, it starts to take a toll on you. So requiring a person to disclose their felony convictions on a job application continues a cycle of poverty, and sometimes results in the person committing another crime. In their mind, they're only trying to survive. By denying employment opportunities to people with a criminal record, society is pushing them back into a life of crime. This not only harms the person, but the community as a whole. In conclusion, individuals should not be obligated to disclose their status as a felon on a job application. I felt that my son being sentenced to 12 months and 10 years probation was an excessive sentence. But the stigma behind being a convicted felon is like serving a life sentence because of the job opportunities you're being denied and other basic life opportunities. I feel that once you have served your time, you deserve a second chance to make something out of your life without your past overshadowing your future. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.